Okay, I'm going to be vulnerable. Eating the frog first is something that I struggle with too. It's about procrastinating, and well, you know what? Let's talk about how we can put an end to procrastination. I'm going to share with you several books that I have fallen in love with over the years as I've, really focused on personal development and becoming a coach. And one of them is Brian Tracy's Eat That Frog, in which he talks about planning your day in advance, chunking it down into bite-sized pieces. You can't eat an elephant all at once. You have to do it one piece at a time, kind of nibbling at the piece of cheese. Well, and starting with the hard part. If you realize that something is a challenge for you, then if you get it out of the way, if you put it in the beginning of your day, then you trigger dopamine, you release dopamine. And that dopamine is such a feel-good hormone. It says, look what I just did. Now, for me, being perfectly transparent, what I struggle with is creating videos like this. I really have to push myself and get out of my comfort zone to do this, but I also know how important it is to be able to reach out to you in this way and personally connect and let you see my process and build this relationship that we have. So that first book I'm mentioning is Eat the Frog, and it also develop a sense of urgency around this because it's so easy to become complacent. The next book is The Productivity Project by Chris Bailey. Chris talks about biological rhythms, about the circadian rhythm, and understanding that we have more energy at certain times of day. I mean, you know that too, but it's about knowing that that's not just you, that's all of us. And how do we maximize when our energy is at its peak, and how do we recover and regroup so that we can go on again when we need to take a break. And nutrition is a big piece of that, which Chris really delves deeply into. And he also emphasizes the importance of single tasking, not multitasking, but rather single tasking, because we make the mistake of thinking that we're productive because we do a few things at the same time. Nothing could be further from the truth. It's important to separate tasks, to organize your time for different things each day, chunking it. The next book I want to show you is this, Taming Your Gremlins. I was first introduced to this book back in 2007 when I was doing my training with the Coaches Training Institute, the Core Fundamentals program, as well as the Leadership program in California. And in this book, Taming Your Gremlins, Rick Carson talks about understanding yourself. It's a delving into self-awareness in a different way from what I've seen in other books. He teaches how to meet the inner saboteur, that little voice that gets in your way when you want something. And, it really, all these different ways that we prevent ourselves from moving forward because of the stories that we tell ourselves. So it's about you recognizing and now becoming aware of and confronting your saboteur, recognizing what your current habits and reactions to stress are, and then being able to choose differently, to choose a new path, a new response instead of a reaction. The next book, Atomic Habits by James Clear, fabulous book. James emphasizes how tiny changes lead to remarkable results, how habits shape our identity, and building a muscle is what happens when you exercise on a regular basis. Well, when you adopt new habits and you continue to do them consistently, you develop a new identity. And it's knowing also that your environment has such a profound impact. Both your inner and your outer environment has an impact on how you show up, because we are so heavily influenced by our environment. And one of my favorite parts of this book is habit stacking. Learning how, we first of all, we talked about how you shouldn't be doing multitasking. Okay, that was emphasized by Chris Bailey in the Productivity Project. But in this book, James Clear talks about habit stacking, where you develop a system of good habits, tacking one habit onto the next one and the next one and the next one. So they are sequenced so that you end up with a ritual around self-care or business or work projects, that you don't drop the ball. Things get done, and they get done in the proper order, and you do far more than you ever did before. And lastly, how to go from good to great by creating habits that stick, habits that you fall in love with, habits that reward you in such a profound way that you can't imagine not doing them. And the next book, Mel Robbins, The 5-Second Rule. Perhaps you've already heard of this one. Mel Robbins talks about the 5-second countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. And it reminds me of the Nike logo, just do it. The way I would explain that is that, we all get inspired. The key is to know that inspiration doesn't last, that it fades. And so you have to act on it before it's gone. It's that when that inspired thought arrives, get up. It can be an example of getting up in the morning instead of hitting the snooze button. That's one example. Yeah, just get out of bed, just move, just get on with it, because the inspiration will fade. And what's the other one is that, I wanted to say that, everybody gets good ideas all the time. We all do. But only the people that act on them achieve anything in life. So ask yourself, does it always just seem like a good idea? Or are you that person that gets out of your own comfort zone and says, oh, come on, let's just do it? And then the final book I want to mention for this process of getting over procrastination is this one, The One Thing, by Gary Keller. You can imagine from the title already what this might be about, the idea that less is more, right? What would you do? What one thing would you do more of or differently if you knew you could not fail? What one thing, if you did it, would give you immense satisfaction, would move the needle in your health, your relationships, or your career, would help you build your business? And it's something that you should do, but you just don't do it for whatever reason. Fear, lack of confidence, thinking you don't know enough. All these other strategies come together, and this is what I include in my program and my personal coaching when I'm working with my clients. I'm not perfect. I procrastinate on things too, but every time I do, I don't let myself off the hook, because I know how to get out of that funk and move forward, just like I'm doing now and reaching out and doing this video for you. So life is art. You are the canvas. I'm your coach, Maura Joy Lustig, your transformational coach. I'd love to know what fires you up and help you achieve more of that in your life. Send me a message, reach out, let's connect. I look forward to learning more about you. Bye-bye for now.